Hello, fourth grade, and welcome to Lesson 5 of Chapter 3, How Do Citizens of the Southeast Help Each Other and the World? In this lesson, you're going to use your investigative skills to explore how citizens from the Southeast take actions to help others and the world. Reading and talking about the positive actions of citizens in the Southeast will help you to understand how the needs of others are met. Here in our picture, you can see the caption reads, "Volunteers help clear debris from homes after Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans and Louisiana." Let's go ahead and take a look at what we need to do in our blue bars. For number 1, look at the title and read the lesson question. What do you already know about Habitat for Humanity? Underline the reasons Habitat for Humanity works to help others. Highlight the accomplishments made by Habitat for Humanity over the years. For number 2, how did Jimmy Carter make a difference in Habitat for Humanity's program? And then underline the role of individuals in Habitat's work. Building for Good. Habitats for Humanity International opened in 1976 in Atlanta, Georgia. Founders Millard and Linda Fuller wanted to help people afford a decent place to live. With the help of volunteers, the Fullers built homes for needy people at no profit. The new homeowners made house payments to a fund. The fund was used to build more homes for other needy people. The idea caught on. In 1984, the former US President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind became Habitat volunteers. Photographers of Carter building houses brought attention to the charity. In Carter's first project in New York City, he helped 19 families receive safe, decent housing. That experience inspired Carter to start a yearly event called the Carter's Work Project. Each year, the event is held in a different city. Habitat's work has continued to expand. Habitat opened Restore, a retail shopping that sells new and used furniture, appliances, and building materials at lower prices. Not only does the program keep these items out of landfills, but the money it earns supports Habitat's charity work. Habitat also started a relief program. The program helps those whose homes have been destroyed in hurricanes and other disasters. Habitat programs now exist in about 1,400 communities across the United States and in about 70 other countries around the world. Volunteers of all ages help Habitat fulfill their mission. Through Habitat, 13 million people have gained a safe and affordable place to live. Former President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind support Habitat for Humanity through participating in projects. Primary source in their words, Jimmy Carter. To have a decent place to live is a basic human right, and also to have a chance to live in peace and to have adequate health care and adequate education so you can take advantage of your talents. Let's take a look at our graphic organizer. Here we're going to continue focusing on important details. So details provide more information about the main idea of a text. Important details help readers to understand the topic. Important details can include examples, descriptions, or explanations. To understand important details, read the text once all the way through. Reread the text and look for specific names, numbers, and actions. And number 3, think about what the information helps you to understand. In our graphic organizer over here, we're going to look at important details from the text. We're going to write what it explains, and then we're going to write what it helps me to understand. So for the first one, they gave us our important detail. They said, with the help of volunteers, the Fullers built homes for needy people at no profit. The new homeowners made house payments to a fund, and the fund was used to build more homes for other needy people. Now, what we can learn from this is explaining to us how the Habitat program works. This is exactly how they work, Habitats for Humanity. What it helps me to understand is that organization, this is the plan for the organization that helps it to be successful. This is their organizational plan. This is how they do their work so that they can continue to do their work. As a second important detail, we can put in that Carter's first project was in New York City, and he helped to build 19 homes for people so they had a safe, decent house to live in. What it explains to me is the result of President Carter's first effort with this organization. And what it helps me to understand was that former presidents continue to do important work even now. Next, we're going to jump into our textbook and read pages 164 to 171 and fill out this graphic organizer similarly. We're going to have important details, what it's explaining, and what we understand from it. Let's go ahead and get started. The ocean, help and harm. The Gulf Coast states of Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana border the Gulf of Mexico. East Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia have coastlines that border the Atlantic Ocean. All of this shoreline means one thing, a lot of water. The Southeast makes good use of it. For example, commercial fishing companies in the coastal states catch billions of dollars worth of fish each year. On top of that, many people fish in the Atlantic Ocean and Gulf of Mexico for recreation. Ships from all over the world travel to major ports in cities such as Savannah, Charleston, Jacksonville, and New Orleans. Beaches in warm, sunny areas welcome tourists, making tourism a major industry. Miles of the shoreline, oil rigs drill deep into the ocean floor to bring up oil. The Southeast receives many benefits from proximity or nearness to the ocean. But there are downsides too. Oil spills damage sensitive coastlines and wildlife. Pollution threatens sea creatures and birds. Hurricanes destroy homes and businesses and endanger human lives. Fortunately, preparation for these storms can save lives and property. So our first important detail that we can put into our graphic organizer is that oil spills damage sensitive coastlines and wildlife. Hurricanes cause destruction and endanger human lives. So what does this explain? It explains some of the dangers that come with living near the ocean. And what it helps me to understand is that living near the ocean, even though it has benefits, there are also some drawbacks, some negative parts to living near an ocean. Hurricanes. Hurricanes are storms that form over tropical ocean waters. The hurricanes that hit the Southeast develop in the Caribbean Sea or the Atlantic Ocean. These massive storms form when ocean temperatures rise more than 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Hurricanes can be up to 100 of miles in diameter. They produce winds that blow more than 70 miles per hour. They bring strong rains, thunderstorms, and tornadoes. Storm surges or rapid rises of ocean water can flood inland areas. Atlantic hurricanes usually affect the United States between June 1st and November 30th. They are most active in September. Areas more than 100 miles inland can also be affected. The National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida, works to predict these storms and issue warnings. The center studies weather patterns that affect hurricanes to estimate how strong the storms will be. Local governments urge people to evacuate the area during the strongest storms. Through early warning, people can move to safety before the storms hit. Hurricanes cause gusting winds, strong rains, and flooding. Hurricane Katrina, cleanup and repair. In late August 2005, Hurricane Katrina spread out over almost the entire Gulf of Mexico when it made landfall near New Orleans. Winds exceeded 170 miles per hour. The storm moved east into Mississippi and Alabama. Waves as high as 26 feet destroyed homes along the coast. The storm surge damaged levees in New Orleans and the area flooded. Thousands of people were trapped. Some could not find a way to leave the city. Others did not evacuate. When Katrina was over, more than 1,800 people died and about 90,000 square miles were affected. Damages totaled around $160 billion. After the storm, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers pumped floodwaters out of New Orleans. They rebuilt the levee system to make it higher and stronger. Residents relocated elsewhere or lived in the area in temporary housing. While the survivors dealt with the loss of their homes, organizations from across the country sent volunteers and funds to help rebuild New Orleans and other affected towns. In addition to the loss of lives, destruction caused by Hurricane Katrina included collapsed homes, uprooted trees, and downed power lines. Cleanup after the hurricane can last for several months. Many volunteer organizations work to clear homes and neighborhoods of debris and damage. So we can jump back to our graphic organizer and we can talk about the National Hurricane Center. So our important detail is that the National Hurricane Center can estimate how strong a storm will be. This explains how the National Hurricane Center in Miami works and what they do. And it helps me to understand that hurricane prediction helps people to know when to evacuate. Disasters and pets. Hurricanes can also impact the lives of pets. The scale of Hurricane Katrina took many people by surprise. Some people evacuated and left their pets behind. They hoped to return to their homes quickly, but they couldn't. Some families who took their pets found that rescue centers and hotels refused pets. Even animal shelters turned away some pets because the shelters were full. More than 100,000 pets were left behind, and as many as 70,000 pets died as a result of the storm. Some pets that ended up in shelters were not returned to their owners because proper paperwork wasn't completed. During Hurricane Katrina, emergency plans only took humans into account. Since then, Congress passed the Pets Evacuation and Transportation Standards Act in 2006. The act requires federal agencies to rescue, shelter, and care for pets during disasters. More than 30 states have laws or plans in place to provide for animals during emergencies. The act has made a big difference. During Hurricane Harvey, which hit Texas in 2017, many pets were able to stay with their owners. Some centers for displaced people accepted pets. Other pets were saved by animal shelters who worked to keep the animals affected by the storm. After Hurricane Harvey hit Texas in 2017, a team of soldiers and first responders worked to rescue dogs and cats from the rising waters. Because of the passage of the Pets Act, first responders are required to rescue, shelter, and care for pets during natural disasters. So our third important detail that we can add was that more than 100,000 pets were left behind after Hurricane Katrina. This helps us to understand the scale of the impact that Hurricane Katrina had, not just on people, but also on people's pets. And it helps you to understand that both humans and animals suffered during the hurricane. Disasters such as hurricanes cause serious problems for both people and pets. The American Red Cross is an organization that helps get food and shelter to people after disasters. The Humane Society and the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals help animals in need. While these organizations are large and well-known, many other rescue shelters and charities dedicate themselves to helping animals. They are always in need of volunteers. Some organizations accept help from people of all ages. You can look around your local area to find ways to help fill the needs. Here are a few tips. Ask if you can volunteer at a local animal shelter. If it has age limits you don't meet, ask if you can collect donations instead. Shelters often need beds, food, toys, or other items. Ask friends and families and neighbors to donate. Local businesses may also help. Assist a local pet rescue. You might take photos of animals, walk dogs, or spend time with cats who need care. Increase awareness of local animal shelters and pet rescue centers. Perhaps you can put together a brochure on the way they can assist and the items that are needed. Investigate local laws and ordinances that are designed to protect pets. If more needs to be done, contact your local government official and ask for additional ways to assist animals. Health in the United States and across the world. Some disasters involve epidemics that affect large numbers of people. Two organizations dedicated to improving people's health are in the Southeast, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, is a public health agency headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. Its goal is to control the spread of diseases in the United States and around the world. The CDC started in 1946. It first wiped out malaria in the United States, a deadly disease spread by mosquitoes. At first, the CDC only handled diseases spread from person to person or from other living beings to people. Today, the agency responds to emergencies, develops vaccines, and tracks outbreaks. Researchers at the CDC work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They study common diseases such as heart disease. They also work with doctors around the globe to treat uncommon diseases. For example, an outbreak of the lethal virus Ebola began in Africa, in the African country of Guinea in 2014 and threatened to spread across other continents. The CDC works in Africa to help affected people and to contain the outbreak. Today, the CDC has a field staff in all 50 states and in more than 120 locations. At the CDC Museum in Atlanta, visitors learn about the agency's work. They even host a disease detective day camp for high school students. The Carter Center. Another important organization in Atlanta is the Carter Center. It was founded by former President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind in 1982. The center works with Emory University to make people healthier in the United States and around the world. Of its successes is nearly wiping out guinea worm disease in Africa. This parasite spreads when people drink infected water. The Carter Center set up a special task force to help people avoid infection. In 1986, about 3.5 million cases of the disease existed. In 2018, the number fell to only 25 cases. The center also works on other world issues. These include encouraging peace in Africa, Korea, and Eastern Europe, and improving healthcare in Africa and Latin American villages. All right, let's head back to our last boxes over here in our workbook. Now, our last main idea we can put in is that the CDC started in 1946. And it first wiped out malaria in the United States. What this explains is that when the CDC started, and it explains what was the first disease that they started to tackle or work with. And what it helps me to understand is that the CDC made positive changes very quickly after they began. Let's go ahead and take a look at your writing sections here. Now, under where it says write about it, we have the word contrast. It says, what are the benefits and the drawbacks of living near the ocean? So what are some of the good things about it and what are some of the bad things about it? And those are things we talked about in that very first page of our reading. And then where it says write and cite evidence, in what ways did Hurricane Katrina affect the Southeast? What changes came about because of it? How did people of the Southeast come together because of Katrina? Use facts from the text to help you explain. So go back and find answers to all of these different small questions and use them to formulate one complete response. Under where it says connect to the essential question, it says pull it together. Think about the ways people in the Southeast help each other and the world. How does this help show the impact of people of the Southeast of the Southeast region today? So here you can talk about how they help each other, how they help the world, give examples, and make sure to use complete sentences, proper punctuation, and your very best handwriting. That takes us to the end of this lesson. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.